This week has been a very interesting week in Jubilee Party, politically speaking. And yesterday, the allies of the Deputy President William Samoei Ruto really celebrated. And they were celebrating because finally, the registrar of political parties made a ruling in their favor by objecting to the changes which were being proposed to the party by Raphael Tuju, especially to the National Management Committee. And I've been asking myself several questions. And one of the questions I've been asking myself is this fight for the control of Jubilee Party, is it between Raphael Tuju, is it pitting Raphael Tuju versus the Deputy President William Samoei Ruto? Or is it between President Uhuru Kenyatta versus the Deputy President? Or is it between William Ruto and his allies versus President Uhuru Kenyatta and his allies? I've been asking myself that question because I strongly believe that Raphael Tuju cannot effect certain changes in Jubilee Party without the support of President Uhuru Kenyatta. And I also believe that the Deputy President finally decided to publicly defend or to publicly fight for this control of Jubilee Party to send certain message, coded message, to the President himself. And I'm going to explain those messages which he was trying to send. But before I do that, let us go back to this particular, letter by the registrar. I want to read it. It's saying, objection to the notice of change of officials of the National Management Committee, Jubilee Party. From that headline alone, it is clear that Raphael Tuju actually lost the war over this control of the political party. And for these changes not to be effected, Jubilee as a political party will have to go and sit and agree. Now, I'll go specifically to the fourth paragraph of this letter by the Register of Political Parties. It's saying, I normally have a problem reading from phone because they are very small. So it's saying, subsequent to analysis of all the objections, it is noted that they relate to the procedures and processes within your party. Consequently, these written objections are hereby forwarded to Jubilee Party to be addressed in accordance with your party constitution and party structure. So what the registrar did was to send the ball back to Jubilee Party. Remember, the Deputy President had referred to Raphael Tuju and had referred to Murathe and other officials who are trying to make these changes as conmen and fraudsters. So basically, this move now means that everything will now go back to one man, Raphael Tuju, who is the Secretary General. And because these things were happening, I now had my interest. I had an interest in Jubilee Party. And I went and looked at the constitution of Jubilee Party. I wanted to see the role of the deputy party leader and the party leader of the party. I also wanted to see the roles of the Secretary General of Jubilee Party and the roles of the chairman. And I found something very interesting. Listen in before we go into the message which the DP was trying to send. Now let's start with the party leader. What does Jubilee Constitution say about the party leader of Jubilee Party? The roles. Number one, be the overall leader of the party and the symbol of unity. That's very important because as a party leader, the president, the party leader, who is Uhuru Kenyatta, is expected to be the leader of the party and also the symbol of unity. I'm failing to understand why there's a division in this party. Why the president, for example, has refused to intervene within these two warring camps. So it tells you that there is something. Now let's find this thing which is very interesting. The other functions of the president, of the party leader of the party says, issue directive for the performance of specific act and omissions and thereof in furtherance. No, not that. There were specific ones. So it says, number 4, offer leadership, political direction, and guidance to the party at all time in discharge of the mandate. I'm going to explain that shortly, why the DP feels that Uhuru has failed. But there was a part here. There was a part here which was saying promote. Good. Number 5, it says promote political harmony and shall have overall authority. Overall. So the party leader in Jubilee Party will have overall authority over the other officials and members of the party. Which means if Raphael Tuju was doing something which Uhuru didn't like in the party, as a party leader, he has the authority, overall authority over Raphael Tuju and any other party members. But now let us go to the functions of the deputy party leader. According to Jubilee Constitution, the role of the party leader is stated as follows. The deputy party leader. The deputy party leader shall deputize the party leader and shall perform functions as the party leader may direct him or her to do so. So it means the deputy party leader can only act if the president directs it so. So basically it means that maybe in this case it's the president who sent the deputy president to write a letter to the registrar of political party. But if the president didn't direct him, under whose authority was he acting? So these are some of the questions which I'm trying to ask myself as a layman. Now let's go to the role of the Secretary General. We had a power blackout, so I've changed. So I think that certain things might have changed. Let us look at the functions of the Secretary General of Jubilee Party. They're listed here, and they are 17 in number. 17. The deputy president only acts, the deputy party leader only acts under the instructions of the party leader. But the Secretary General of Jubilee Party has 17 functions. We are not going to look at all the 17 functions. But some of them, it's saying, be responsible for the party affairs at the National Secretariat, the organs or bodies which relate to the National Secretariat, and the party's management from the grassroots to the national level. So basically, the Secretary General of Jubilee Party is the main engine of this political party called Jubilee Party. I'm not going to look at all those. But now, let us now go to what is causing the issue here, which is called the National Management Committee. What are some of the functions of the National Management Committee? Basically, the National Management Committee of Jubilee Party is the organ which is mandated to run the day-to-day activities of Jubilee Party. And it's composed of the Secretary General, it's composed of the Chairman, it's composed of the Secretary General, the Treasurer, those are 4, and now the 6 members, some of which were being replaced, and the Executive Director. But what message was the Deputy President sending out to his boss? Because for the first time, the DP took time and wrote a letter of protest to the Registrar of Political Parties. And I argued previously that that was meant to send a clear message. Because the other guy who did the donkey work now, finally, was the Deputy Secretary General, Caleb Kositany, who went with now the rated submissions and submitted to the Registrar of Political Parties. But what message was the Deputy President sending to the boss? Number 1, I think he was telling Uhuru Kenyatta that, look here, you are the party leader of Jubilee Party. The Constitution is very clear on the functions which you are supposed to provide. The guidance, being the symbol of the national unity, the symbol of the national unity in this party. We have been having problems in this party. Now for the last 2 or 3 years, you've done nothing. So I'm intervening. So basically, the DP was telling the boss that you have failed on your constitutionally mandated roles. And that's why the DP decided to write that letter. So in my view, that's number 1. If he believes that the president, who is the party leader, has failed to run the party as per the expectations of the party members and also as per the expectations of the constitution. So that's the first message he was sending out to the DP, to the president. And that's why, if you are keen, he first of all wrote the letter, the protest letter. He was the first to write the protest letter. And then the rest followed. That's the first message. The second message he was sending was very clear. He was telling the president, and he was telling Raphael Tuju, or anybody within the Jubilee party, that there is nothing you can do in this party without consultation. I am not a lawyer. I cannot really interpret the constitution of Jubilee party, the roles of the president, of the party leader, the secretary general, the chairman, the vice chair. But the DP, in very layman's language, was telling these people that there is nothing you can do in this party without consultation. Because if these 3 individuals or 6 individuals who are being appointed to fill these positions were members of Jubilee party, what was wrong with even the DP just going to Raphael Tuju or going to Uhuru Kenyatta and tell Uhuru Kenyatta, of all these 6 people, I have a problem with 1 person, or I have a problem with 2. Then, as a political party, then they agree and make those changes silently, without going publicly. So it means certain things are being done behind his back, and he's realized, and he was telling them clearly that moving forward, there is nothing, there's no monkey business which will happen in this party if we won't have consultation. As simple as that. Number 3, the third message, which came out very strongly, was the fact that he was telling the party leader that I have the numbers in this party. Remember, Jubilee as a political party had several other political parties. I think there was 12. So Ruto's party was URP, Uhuru's party was TNA. There were several other political parties in it. But the only people making noise are the wing of the deputy president, which were initially the URP side. The rest are not making noise. The rest are comfortable. Tip comfortable. The others, I've seen them, they're all comfortable. The only party with a problem is the deputy president. Why? Because they have the numbers. You go to parliament, you go to the Senate. How many people managed to sign? Over 146 members managed to append their signatures. To append their signatures and send protest letters to the registrar of political parties. You go round Jubilee strongholds. Who has the numbers? So I think because of the fear that they have the numbers, and because of the fear that they might lose the party, because remember, Jubilee is a political party. There are people who associate with Jubilee party. They can support the DP, but now if the DP will decide to leave Jubilee as a political party and form another political party, some of them will be reluctant to join him there. But now he's telling these people that I have the numbers. We can do whatever you want. And I've seen Moses Kuria responding that from now henceforth, they are going to start having their meetings at Jubilee House. And lastly, I think the DP was also sending a message to anybody who cares. Anybody who cares. That is now ready to fight in Jubilee Party. He's not going to allow anybody to mess with his succession politics. The message is very clear there, and it's out there. Otherwise, if that was not the case, the DP, there's no way the DP would have, for example, gone ahead and publicly start engaging on Jubilee affairs, on Twitter, on Facebook, and in political rallies. Because if Jubilee is a party with the structures, then it means there are internal party mechanisms. And despite the fact that there were existing party mechanisms in Jubilee Party, the DP still went out there, and started complaining publicly. So he was basically taking the war directly to the president's doorstep, the party leader's doorstep. So in my view, those are some of the coded messages which the DP, in my view, was sending to the boss. I don't know what you think, but that's my take. And if you are bumping on this video for the first time, I want you to just do a favor. I want you to just do me a favor. Just hit the subscribe button so that anytime you produce a video like this ones, you get notified. And to the subscribers, I want to continue. Thank you guys for your continued support. It's amazing. And by the way, there was this video which I did yesterday about how William Ruto is cleverly sabotaging the Mount Kenya succession plan. And it has really received very good feedback. I didn't expect it to get such kind of feedbacks. Yeah, and I'll be doing such kind of videos, not necessarily about Central Kenya, but in any other place. And my next video, I want to look at the key allies of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Who are the targets of the DP? Because the DP and his allies have been targeting specific individuals within President Uhuru Kenyatta's camp. Who are these people? And why are they being targeted? So I'm going to look at around 6 individuals. So if you might think, if you have someone in mind, then let me know. Thank you guys, and please may you have a good day.